Look guys, when you're working on the heavy bag, the positioning of your legs, as well as the movement of your arms, are both incredibly important here. So start off very slowly and calmly. If you want to learn how to punch, you really need to understand the specific direction and momentum that comes from striking at a particular angle. Because here it's clear, yes, everything is right there in front of your eyes. But when you perform a side step, you naturally end up off to the side. So in order to avoid missing the bag entirely, the very first exercise is done just up to the point of lightly touching it. Because if you start hitting right away, the bag will start swinging and your whole technique will just fall apart. First, the bag should stay in place. This is done on a heavy bag. You can do it on a medium bag. You can do it on a light bag. But you start with the heavy bag. So look here at the turn, how it works for you. If you examine the situation from this perspective, one leg drives the other. That's why for accurate aiming you need a medium distance here. You can even be a little closer than medium distance. As a matter of fact, you'll have to consistently practice your technique at all distances. In this case, the turn of the leg should already be the factor that determines the direction. First, learn to set it up. Oh, see, the turn of the leg has already set my direction. 1, up to the touch. 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All of this amazing action is happening because of the specific movement in the leg. The leg muscles engage to push off the ground, and it can push off in a very powerful, steady, and efficient way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. For now, stay in place without moving. All right, everyone, get ready. Boxers, did you understand the task? First, I want you to slowly move up to the touch. Move just a little bit closer to the bag, just so you really get the feel of it. Here it's very important to pay attention. Once again, the movement of the leg and the hand starts at the same time. Don't hit yet, just place your hand. You understand the direction. Just a little bit more, just a little bit. Now look, lean onto your leg just a tiny bit. If you lean too much, then the whole thing is completely wrong. Watch me one more time. Your leg just rotates, see? And my center shifts just a little bit, exactly so that this specific line, this is a very strong line. So right here, if you also clench your fist at the very same time, it creates a kind of powerful micro explosion. You do it all in one motion. You can go ahead now. That's it. And freeze right now, freeze, come over here and take a closer look. The specific direction of the foot determines the exact line of the punch. If you look at it from this perspective, his movement actually turned out to be absolutely perfect in every way. In your case, you need to lean in just a little so that your foot and leg are pointing at the same spot. If your foot suddenly twists and your hand goes this way, it's not necessarily a huge mistake. That is to say, there's nothing immediately terrible about it. But on the return, the extra movement from that over-twisting will eventually come back at you. It will be much harder to return to your stance, so make sure the punch goes strictly in a straight line, fully extended and precise. All right, go ahead and try it. There are a lot of small, important details here, so get a bit closer to the heavy bag now. For the time being, just do it without taking any steps. Now let's focus on the moment of inertia. Right here, this is looking absolutely perfect. Let's try it one more time. Very good. Keep it all moving in one steady direction, Vova. That is exactly it. All right, everyone, get ready for the next part. Now you can really hit it. Hit it hard and then freeze. Let's check if everything is all right. Ram, look, see, your hand is on one side, but your foot is pointing over here. So you needed to lean a little more this way. That's correct. See, you're leaning just a little bit right here. See, there it is. That's your striking part. Can you hit harder? You can't hit harder. Do you know why? I can tell you. The sharper you swing your leg, the easier it will be for you to snap your shoulder. It's all very simple. 1. try it. Twist your leg. Lyosha, good job. Stop. Now with your leg. That means you should end up to the side. You can do it from your stance. Loosen up your legs a bit to make it easier. Back again. Loosen up your legs. 1. See, your hand is already pointing in the right direction by itself. Loosened up your legs. 1. Loosened up your legs. 1. Stomped your feet. Strike. So stomp, then strike. Actually, this stomping charges you up. Because the movement you'll make with the strike, a step to the side with a strike, is done very quickly. If you drag out this movement, your opponent will read it. That's why the secret is in the lightning speed of the movement. To strike lightning fast, you first need to calmly practice it, work it out slowly so you understand the direction. 1. Again, stomp down, stomp down. Now you can maneuver around a little bit. Maneuvered around a bit and stomped. 1. And after that, you're all set to go. Stomp your feet, stomp your feet. It'll be easier for you that way, then go for the side step. All right, strong effort, but as I have been mentioning, the mistake is that you start hitting hard. Again, I'm telling you, for now, just try doing it very calmly. If you don't understand the direction of movement itself, your foot and hand won't be in line. Lyosha, you're going too far, you're leaving yourself behind. In a fight, maybe you'll play it that way. But right now, you see your bag, well, stay just a little closer to it, a little bit closer. There almost, you see? And now the angle of your strike is already right here. But direct it over here. So that, like this, see, this is absolutely perfect. Your entire body is already pressing right here. And that is where all the power will be. That is when you can already push it with your leg, you see. And your arm is positioned perfectly in the direction of the push. Don't bring your feet together. Simply step in place a little bit. Good, that's it. Now try to maneuver, slip, slip, good. One more time. Slip. There you go, well done. Slip, slip, go. There you go, well done, good. Well, that works. It's okay to go a bit overboard with some things. You're trying, you're practicing after all. That's actually the main nuance of the strike. That you can perform it in all sorts of ways. And in a fight, you'll have to do it this way and that way. It's a bit rough, Roma, but for now it's correct. That is looking very good. Yes, very good. Very softly, that is truly excellent. This is the initial foundational exercise designed to help you develop the necessary strength and form leading up to a very specific and technical movement. Now go ahead and repeat these exact same movements and steps on the other side. You can also practice shuffling your feet around, and as you continue to move in a specific direction, you shuffle, you maneuver, and you keep your balance while transitioning. And then very carefully you place your hand right there. You maneuvered, shuffled around quite a bit, shuffled again, and then you finally did it. It is very important to move yourself a little bit to the side so that you don't stay on a perfectly straight line while you work. Well, play with your feet some more. Play, play. Take your time. Don't rush, Vova. That's almost right. See? You ended up too far from the bag. So, you need to step in here. Yes, closer. This is the angle for your strike. I'm telling you again, right here. It's very important to learn to understand this angle of attack. It's one of the most difficult aspects in boxing. Anyone can punch straight, but only masters can punch from an angle. So that he ends up to the side. Good. Make sure the bag doesn't swing too much. And look, your foot moved away, but your body stayed on this leg. Stop. So guys, look, here are the key mistakes. The first mistake is when you move your foot for the punch, but your body stays back, right here. How can you even throw a punch like that? I'll say it again. You need to switch your shoulders and rotate your leg. This is what you end up with, both to one side and to the other. And it's at this angle that you throw your punch. There it is. There it is. True power is achieved when these two links, the movement of the shoulders and the rotation of the leg, are perfectly in sync. In reality, the momentum still comes from the leg. It's just that the shoulder picks it up so quickly that you don't see any difference. Of course, you can twist a bit and then twist again. That can happen too. But in your case, everything should flow together. That is, the movement is so sharp, so powerful that your arm just flies out on its own. And here, the key is to catch this very direction, to catch this moment. That's why you should keep the preparatory exercises, with deep bending, twisting the leg, and the curve in the knees. Because if you do it with straight legs, nothing will rotate anywhere for you. Keep in mind that straight legs are definitely not what we want for this time, so get ready in your own way, moving left and right. Right here, you can already start to bring it a bit closer to a real combat situation. For instance, you can add a little feint to keep things realistic. Now take a close look at me. See, I worked with a left side step, then right, then left, left again, right and left, so that there's some good variety in your movement. Just keep it fluid and stay active. You can actually do this just to get a better feel for the distance, and then you fall. 1, 2, 3, you fall. It's all quite simple. Basically just to start combining the movement a bit so you don't get too stiff or mechanical. Well, that was almost good. Just take it little by little, little by little. There is really no need to go too hard for now. Now look closely at this specific point. Your punch isn't quite fully defined yet. It's some kind of punch, maybe a straight, a hook, or an uppercut, but it's definitely not an uppercut. And it's definitely not a straight or a hook either. That is, this is a modification of a punch where there is a slight element of straight movement and an element of rotation from a hook motion. This is what the modification is. Landing a pure straight punch or a pure hook while using a speed step in a fight is extremely rare. That's why the punch itself is a modification. This specific nature of the movement changes. It all depends on where you're aiming, at the head or at the body. On the traditional heavy bag, which is an inanimate and completely lifeless object, you can really carefully mark things out on it just like you would on a post. Where is the head? Where is the body? That's why I came closer to the bag now, so you can look at me through the bag and understand. And now you can clearly determine that my entire body is located where your elbow is right now. By using your own elbow as a guide, you can determine that this is the body. And from here, you can already turn it in. You might move your elbow slightly away from yourself to give your punch more momentum. And the same principle goes for the head as well. Whenever you are getting ready to throw a punch, you should constantly understand exactly where your precise head position is, so you can clearly distinguish between the body and the head, the body and the head. This specific distance that you are seeing right here is what we would typically refer to as the close-range fighting distance. That is, it's when I end up right here. Here's the side step to the body. Here is the side step to the head. Do you see the movement? But honestly, I'm not steering with my hand. I'm steering with my foot. I can stay here as well. I can also stay here. See? Here is a punch from an angle. The line of direction, here it is. Is it hard to get out like this? Actually, yes, it's difficult. Very difficult. Especially if, when you slide in here, you have to keep your body perfectly straight, and it's the same here. When you move out to the head, it's a little bit easier, but still hard. These nuances are already essential combat nuances. Dry work on the bag is only so you can feel the power of the movement and the punch. But that's not yet a sidestep. Here it is, the specific nuance of the sidestep itself. This is exactly what happens in a fight, when you can really land a clean punch on your opponent. And land it right away. When you really move out at the angle of the punch, using this specific angle of the punch will help you in setting up your sparring. This is the controlled part of your match. Not mindlessly, not losing your head. Bam, your opponent's spleen or liver is gone. At least up to a light touch, calmly, calmly. In the next lessons, we will go into this in much greater detail This topic of approaching and retreating, specifically the sidestep, is extremely difficult to develop in sparring and on pads. On pads, it's especially hard to set up. Sidestep, because the first reference point you'll use is your opponent's shoulder. And here, well, you get it, right? That is, it's very hard to work on the pad because, well, you have to hold the pad at the shoulder and at the head. There are only a few elite coaches who can really hone the sidestep on pads. That is kind of the highest level of training. If your coach can do that, it is just truly awesome. Guys, pay close attention and observe these techniques all the time. We wish everyone nothing but kindness and love.